This week's Parshas Vayetzei, begins Vayetzei Yaakov mib'er Shava Vayelech Harana. And Yaakov left Beersheba and went to Harana. So Rashi is bothered by Lo tzarach lichtov ela Vayelech Yaakov Harana. It should have just said that Yaakov went to Haran. Why do I care that Yaakov came left from Beersheba? Because it said Vayelech Harana. So we'll see. Rashi gives a famous answer to Yitziat Tzaddik min hamakam osa rosham. That when a tzaddik leaves a place, it makes an impression. But in the time when the righteous person is in the city, it has an impact. So the question is, why did Rashi wake up late here? How come when Avram left the city, or when Yitzchak left the city, it doesn't say Yitziat Tzaddik min hamakam osa rosham? It should just say, why didn't it say the same thing by Avram and Yitzchak? So there's an interesting Avnei Shoham who points out the chiddush of Rashi is that it's obvious that Abraham and Yitzchak, and certainly Abraham was a person on the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news. He was famous, wealthy. He was a man of chesed, as we all know, his achnasas archim, entertaining guests, etc. So, and Yitzchak also because Avram's son as well, and he was involved in different things. So, when Avram and Yitzchak left the city, it's obvious that the Rosham is felt, because whoever was running the Chesed organization is gone now. Things aren't happening. Very pragmatic, very practical. But Yaakov represents Torah. And learning Torah has an impact, of course, on everyone, but it has a spiritual impact that one cannot see with the naked eye. And therefore, it's like, for instance, it's like the impact a kollel has on a community. I don't mean a kollel where they actually go in and they learn with the balabatim and give classes. That is a kollel is, they certainly have an impact and you'll feel it. But a kollel has nothing to do with the community, per se. It has its own Dalet Amos, it's learning somewhere in the city. So even whether you recognize or not, that Makom Torah has an impact on the whole community. And Yaakov, who was a Ish Tam, Yoshei Laholam, that's what Rashi's coming to tell me. The Chiddush is even Yaakov, who was the man of Torah, of learning, that people might not recognize the impact, but even Yaakov, when he left the town, so it made an impact on the town. That's the Rashi. There's a famous Beis Halevi. Beis Halevi says, it's going to want to teach me how meticulous Yaakov was in the fulfillment of Kibbud Avim. That it says, Vayetzei Yaakov left Beersheba, Vayelech Harana. So Yaakov's mother said, just get away before Esav kills you, you have to get out of here. Just get out of Beersheba. And where you go is not important, just go to a safe spot. And Yitzchak said, go to Haran and find a wife. So the Pasuk is coming to explain how Yaakov was in fulfillment of Kibbud Avim. When Vayetzei Yaakov Beersheba, he left from Beersheba in fulfillment of his mother's wishes. Vayelech Harana, in fulfillment of his father's wishes. So he was in fulfillment of Kibbud Avim. And in fact, even his brother Esav, who was a big Rasha, nevertheless, Chazal say Esav was very meticulous as well in honoring his parents. And in fact, there's a Chazal which tell us, our rabbis tell us, I think it was one of the great rabbis who was bemoaning the fact, I wish I could keep Kibbud Avim the way Esav kept it. Because when Esav used to visit his father, he used to put on special clothing. When I visit my father, I just wear my everyday clothes. I don't put on anything special. So the commentators asked, the Mefarshim asked, what are you bemoaning about? Talk is cheap. Do something. So before you visit your father or mother, go into your closet, take out your Shabbos suit or your Yom Tov suit and put it on, and then go. So what are you bemoaning? Something that's in your control? Just go ahead and do it. So the commentators explain, no, that's not what he was bemoaning. Of course, he could have went ahead and put on a suit or special clothing, but that would have been an empty act. He didn't feel it. He was saying, I wish I had the feeling, I wish I felt kibbud av v'eim like Esav, that he felt he was in someone's presence who was special, and it was inherent in him to put on something special. So too here, I could have put on the suit and the tie, but I would have been lacking in the feeling, and that's what he was bemoaning. As the Gemara talks about one woman who covered her hair, that the walls never saw it, she was zocha, her kids became Kohanim Gedolim. The kasha is the many women who did that. How come their kids didn't become Kohanim Gedolim? Because the point is, not everyone covers it and they have that same feeling. She covered it and she felt, Shivisi Hashem, when Negdi Tami, I'm in God's presence, I always have to cover it. So it's not just the act itself, but it's the feeling behind the act. And that's what he was bemoaning. I wish I could feel the way Asa felt and be meticulous in kibbud av v'eim. So we see Yaakov in fulfilling both his mother and father's wishes, as well as Esav. Which raises the question is a Ben Noach, is a non-Jew obligated in kibbud av v'eim? We know it's one of the Aseres HaDibros. A Jew is obligated in kibbud av v'eim in honoring one's parents. But before the Torah was given, did a Ben Noach, was he obligated in honoring one's parents? Because if you look at the commandments that a non-Jew is obligated in, the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, which are, the way I remember them, is the big 3, the 3 things you have to give up your life for: idol worship, illicit relations, and to murder someone else. And then Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet. Aleph is Aver Min Achai, not to tear a limb off a live animal. Beis, Birchas Hashem, a euphemism for cursing God. Gimel, Gezel, stealing, and Dalet, Dinam. So at first glance, it's not one of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, so you would say a non-Jew is obligated. Yet we see that Noach's kids were praised for taking care of him afterwards. Or we find in other places that people were punished for not doing kibbud av v'eim. So the implications are that a non-Jew is obligated in kibbud av v'eim. So if that's the case, how come? It's not one of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. So some say it is one of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. Some say it's under the rubric of Birchas Hashem, a euphemism for cursing God, that you can't curse God and your parents are one of your creators, so therefore it falls under the rubric of Birchas Hashem. Others say it falls under Dinam, that what's the most common sense? The mitzvah is kibbud av v'eim, a society that has to keep the laws, respecting their elders and everything. It falls under the general rules of Dinam. And others say that it's a mitzvah sichlis, it's a mitzvah that one could figure out on their own, based on rationale and thinking. And therefore, they point out that that's why a non-Jew has obligations outside of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. The first 2 answers said, you're right, it has to be one of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, and we found it within the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, either cursing God or setting up a judicial court system. This answer is saying no, even outside the realm of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, we find the mitzvah of the mitzvah of kibbutz avim. It's a mitzvah sichlis. It's a logical mitzvah. It's a common sense mitzvah. And any common sense mitzvah, non-Jew is obligated as well. As we pointed out, it says that the Gemara in Kedushin of the Dava ben Nesina, he was a non-Jew and he was very meticulous in honoring his father. The famous story where he didn't wake up his father and he cost his father a lot of money, or actually cost himself a lot of money. His father's money, would have told him to wake him. But his own money he was willing to lose in order to fulfill kibbutz avim, and he was rewarded. So the Gemara says, look how far one has to go. Dava ben Nesina isn't obligated in kibbutz avim, and he went ahead and he did all these things anyway. How much more so us who are obligated, how much we have to do? So we see from this Gemara in Kedushin that even someone so we see from this Gemara, a non-Jew is not obligated in kibbutz avim. And look how, if a guy who's not obligated, look what he has to do, how much more so us. So the question is, we see from here that a guy is not obligated, a ben noach is not obligated. It has to fit in with the opinion we said that if it's a common sense mitzvah, he is. So we pointed out that the answer is because it's common sense not to curse your father, not to beat him up, not to kill him. That's common sense. But to give up $5 million in order not to wake him up, in fact, that's counterintuitive. And therefore, that's what it's coming to tell me. That a non-Jew isn't obligated in that, but perhaps a Jew is. So those are the different. So we establish that Ben Noach is chayav in kibbutz avim, either because of it's one of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, or because of mitzvah sichlis. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva. He says it's much more fundamental. It's a universal commandment that a non-Jew is obligated based on the principle of hakaras hatov. Hakaras hatov is you have to recognize the good that people do to you. The parents do everything to the parents. They brought you into this world. In fact, that's why the Gemara says that you even have to give more honor certain things to a Rabbi because your parents brought you into the world, the physical world. But a Rabbi even is taking you into the next world. But the point being is hakaras hatov for what your parents did for you. Therefore, some say it's universal, that applies to everyone, both Jew and non-Jew alike, and even Bnei Noach are obligated. That's what we discussed, the Rashi about the importance that the Torah has on the community, and even though you might not notice it, but it's there whether you notice it or not. And then the issue of Yaakov being meticulous in kibbutz avim, Esau being meticulous in kibbutz avim, and the discussion on whether Ben Noach is obligated in kibbutz avim.